Hey, welcome to Conversations of Possibilities for this month with awesome Tulika Singh. Yay!
Hello.
How did we get so lucky to have you on, honey?
How did I get so lucky that you thought of me?
It's like, well, you've been one person who has been such an inspiration, truly such an inspiration in everything you do, everything you be, everything you create, and more. And thank
Thank
you
you.
for being that. Thank you for being that for all of us. So thank you for truly actually being the space of following your knowing, that trusting your knowing, where even if the world tells you, no, it's not this way, it has to be that way, but you just know. And that for me is Tulika. I think for a lot of us on this call is Tulika.
I
Yeah,
will receive that.
yeah. And I
Thank
think
you.
I speak for everybody on this call and for all those who will be listening to it later that you have really inspired us, each one of us, in some way or the other, to actually choose something greater and to always know that there is more and never to stop. Like remember when you were talking about that, Tulika, and I said, for me, your energy is of being unstoppable.
Yes.
Yeah. And
That was the first
yeah,
topic we thought. And then
yeah,
we came up with this
yeah.
one, which is funny because this is the conversation we've been having for the last 4 or 5 days in certified facilitators room.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, true.
And we
What do
picked
we
this
know,
topic.
right? Consciousness truly creates everything for us much in advance. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, darling, I'd
Okay.
love to ask you about a little for people who don't know you. I'm surprised. I'll really be surprised if there's anybody there who doesn't. But for just to believe for a moment to say someone who might not know who Tulika is and would like to know how Tulika started with her journey. What was it? Like 5 years back, 6 years back, 7 years back? How long was
Seven,
it?
seven
Wow.
years ago.
Wow.
Well, I also didn't realize how long it's been till
Yeah.
we were at lunch in Rome with the entire Indian contingent. I was like, no way. I've
Yeah.
I've been a certified facilitator for 6 of those 7 years. So
Yeah.
it's been amazing. For those of you who don't know me, I have been choosing more and more consciousness through the tools of access for the last 7 years. And I have been introduced to access through a very kind, beautiful gentleman called Ratandeep. I'm sure you know him, and if you don't, you should figure a way to get to know him. He's someone who melted me, the very righteous, anointed, very, proper. I've got this all right person that I was, and yet deep down confused and not sure and untrusting of myself, and yet, um, you know, I wasn't the person that had the level of clarity that she thought she had. And at that time, I met RD, and he melted the judgments in my world. And I couldn't believe just a conversation with someone could do that. I wondered what actually doing what he was talking about would create. And 7 years down the line, I can assure you, um, it is really. It has made me sharper in some things that I already knew I was gifted with. It has also melted me in the places that were hard, that were stubborn, that were abused, that were difficult for me to look at. So, yeah, it's been an amazing, amazing, amazing journey, and one that I continue to enjoy.
Wow. How beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we both share the man we both love, right? We both love him. I think everybody on this call loves him, but yes, for I get exactly what you're saying about Ratandeep because he actually shows you the possibility of
Living with kindness.
living with kindness and actually melting away the wrongness without needing to fight it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, wow, is that even possible? Because
And if I
I
may
know,
add,
yes, sure,
he
Pramod.
makes it look so easy,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the beauty of it.
effortless.
Yeah, yeah. So
Someone please send in this call.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
He watches all of them.
Oh, sweet. Good.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah. So what shifted after that, Tulika? Like, I mean, you did the bars, I know, and I know you chose the foundation and you were like, okay, I'm going to Dubai. And then it's like, and then your life just, oh my God, that's strange. Immediately after your foundation, you were flying out to Dubai, right?
Right.
Okay,
And now I'm
interesting.
moving to Dubai. For those of you who don't know, they're wondering what
Yeah.
the Dubai connection is. I'm moving
Yeah.
to
I
Dubai
mean,
end of this month. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So what was that trusting your knowing about the class? Like when when did you just trust what he was being for you, or did you trust what you were knowing by listening to him? Like a lot of us trust by listening to people.
Yeah.
So what were you really trusting at that moment?
Um, I think I was more trusting. I know we were introduced to the tool of light and heavy once we
Yeah.
got into Access, but I
Yeah.
think somewhere all of us have been choosing light and heavy all our lives. And if you're not, then maybe you want to acknowledge that if you haven't acknowledged where you have been choosing that. So for me, I quit my job because it had been heavy. It's just that now when we choose light and heavy, we immediately make a choice based on that. Earlier, we would choose heavy and then realize, hey, that was heavy. I should not be
Yeah.
choosing that. Or
Yeah.
it's been heavy for a little while, and that little while could be 3 years or 4 years, but now it would be 3 seconds or 4 seconds or 3 months or 4 months. But earlier, I think I'd continued choosing something that was very heavy in my world for about a couple of years. And it was so heavy, which was my job at that time. I loved my job. I enjoyed advertising. I was in advertising and PR, and branding was my last job. But it was so heavy. It was something that just didn't make me happy to get up every day and go to. I liked the content, but there were so many other elements that just I knew there was so much more possible. So I quit my job without having another job, without knowing what I'm going to do next, without any sense of what am I going to create next, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about Access when I quit my job. So those of you who have actually taken this leap with the tools of Access, and I don't mean taken the leap with Access, and if we want, we can have another conversation what I mean by that, but taken a leap with the tools of Access, you got this. Like, you really just have to keep using the tools, and there's no way that you wouldn't be able to make this work. But for me, it was like I didn't even have the tools of Access. I just knew that this was not what I wanted. This was not what I wanted to create. And that knowing, I had to trust it. And I had to go against a lot of people because everyone in my life was like, what is the matter with you? You got 100% hike in your job at the time where it was a recession. Like, people were getting fired and you were getting double promotions and double the raise, right? It's like, that's how much they love you. That's how much they want you around. And you are someone who's going to go quit your job right after that. And I was like, yeah, I am, because it just does not work for me. It just does not make me happy to get to work every day. This does not mean you should all quit your jobs. All it means is if there's something that you guys are choosing that is not something that excites you to get out of bed every morning, are you doing the things that you enjoy? Are they making you create the life that you want to? And or even if you are for the time being doing something that's not so much fun for you, are you adding things that are extra fun then, to sort of make up for this while you shift and change this? So that was that. And then, of course, within a year or so, I found Access. So it was, but those 2 years were hard. And yes, it did take me trusting my knowing, including, I mean, it's funny you say that about RD and me wanting to go to Dubai. I was going to go to Dubai to start a business because I was literally like on the last bit of my savings. I didn't know where it was going to go from there. And then RD and then foundation cost whatever it cost at that time. And I was like, wow, that's literally half of my savings. That's all I had left after 2 years of having quit my job. And can you imagine the level of trust one has to have on themselves to say, I'm going to give you half of my saving, even though I didn't know where it was going. And then, of course, I was totally hooked. I was like, okay, this is changing. This is changing now. And I paid him all. I wanted to pay him by installments, and he was totally okay with that. But then I was just like, no, this is not honoring of him. This is not honoring of me. I ain't doing this installment business. If I have to pay him, I'm going to do it right now. I'm not going to delay anything that is not honoring. Like if this is honoring of him, this is honoring of me, this is honoring of the money that I have invested in it, and I paid him right there and then, almost half of everything. It wiped my bank account, but I paid him. And that's it. That's the trust
That's true trusting, right? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's knowing that there's something greater. Yeah. Wow, that is so beautifully put. Because most of us would go into the wrongness of spending the money and reasons to hold on to the money and not trust ourselves. So, which we've been
Especially
speaking.
when it comes to money. I think we don't trust ourselves when it comes to money.
Yeah.
We don't trust we can make it. We don't trust it will show up. We don't trust it will create and generate. And that not trusting is actually what creates the lack as well.
Yeah.
So when I spent that half my money on Access, I didn't think that it's not going to come back or I've lost that money. Do you know what I mean? I knew it was an investment towards something. It's really simple. I was just like, is this going to create? Of course, at that time, I didn't use these words, but I must have, I'm sure, asked myself that, is this really something that would create the future I've been asking for? And it did. It didn't just create the immediate future I was asking for. It's created the futures that I was aware of, the possibilities, not just for me, but for my family, the people around me, the world, in India, I would even say, the possibilities that I was aware of by making that one call of showing up for that class and paying for it.
Yeah. It's so funny when you said that we don't trust ourselves with money. We trust ourselves not to have the money. We trust ourselves to lose all the money. We trust ourselves to make stupid investments. But that's that conversation we've been having so much at the CF this time. It's totally rocked my world. It's totally changed. It's like I think I'm still processing a lot that happened there and that showed up, and it's just showing me all those places where I've trusted the wrongness of me more than trusting me. There's a difference of where you trust the judgment, of trusting you, is trusting the knowing.
Because judgment is the only way we've been taught to trust, right?
Yeah.
It's how many judgments do you use to finally come up with a logical way of trusting something? Yeah. So when you say trust, is it trust or is it just another form of judgment?
Yeah.
It's the right and wrong. I will only trust someone who does not lie, right?
Yeah.
I will only trust someone who is extremely honest. I will only trust someone who is, extremely has no lack in their world. Like whatever it is that you've decided about trusting yourself or anyone.
Absolutely. And Tulika, it's also very, if I can say it, it's sometimes almost like a hidden judgment, like an agenda for trusting a person.
Yeah.
You have to have that reason to trust the person.
And then the same comes for you when it's time to trust you.
Yeah.
You are so busy judging yourself. Why would you ever trust yourself?
Yeah.
Would you trust someone you judge? And why in the world would you judge you? Would you trust you if you're judging you?
Yeah.
So if I have a friend or if I know someone and they're like, hey, would you trust me with money? Hey, would you? And I'm like thinking, this person's a loser. They don't know what they're doing with their life. They don't know what they're going to go do next. They don't know. They're probably going to lose all the money. They're going to not take care of themselves. They're not going to take care of the house. I mean, all the possible judgments that you guys have of yourself. Imagine you had that for someone else. Okay. All the things that you think about yourself. Now apply that and say, would you trust this person?
Never, right?
Never.
Not even with the littlest toenail.
And now you wonder why you have trouble trusting yourself.
Yeah.
It's too much judgment of you and your capacities and your abilities and non-acknowledgement of the gift you are, non-acknowledgement of the brilliance you are, non-acknowledgement of the kindness you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so wonderful, because when you acknowledge that you are the kindness and you are the brilliance and you do know, is when you can actually take a step forward with not judging it, but just knowing that that is what is. right? Most of us don't even acknowledge it, because if we acknowledge it, oh my God, you mean I have to trust me now?
And more than anything else, even if you do, you'll trust yourself for 5 minutes and that's it. Like after 5 minutes, it's usually like, okay, I'm done. There isn't a sense of trust that stays and is prevalent in every choice you make, everything you feel, everything you say. And it's not a daily thing. It's not like you get up knowing and trusting yourself, and you sleep knowing and trusting yourself, and you function through the day trusting and knowing yourself. You know.
So I love that conversation about trusting. But you know what I really would like also, and if maybe I'm asking for a few people on this call too, when we trust, it's again about trusting the now. What's the difference between trusting for the moment and actually trusting for creating a certain future that you're so aware of, which is just not there, which is everyone says it's not possible, but you're so aware of that energy that is possible. Is there even a difference?
But that's what I'm trying to say. It's not an either or situation. There is a part of you that needs to trust the now. There is not a part of you. All of you needs to trust the now to be able to actually create and choose the future, because you don't actually reach the future without trusting the now. If I have to choose something right now, we were all exhausted, by the way, after the certified facilitators class. And then I've been packing since morning, and this poor lady just woke up a couple of hours back or an hour or so back and told me. And I was like, hey, are there going to be people in the call? And she's like, no, just they'll be there. And there's a whole lot of people here. And it's so fun to watch that. Like, did you actually physically do stuff to get them here? Maybe just a little. But did you know that they're all going to show up?
Yeah, that's annoying. Yeah.
Exactly. But what did you have to trust in that moment, that point where you said, no, everyone's going to go, come, everyone's going to, I was like, do you want to move it? Because, we haven't had the time to really talk about it and tell people about it. But she's like, no, people will be there. It's that, but you did have to trust the now.
Yeah.
And you and possibilities, and you had to trust consciousness, and you had to trust the universe, and you had to trust people have your back, and you had to trust you have your back. And so everywhere you think trusting just one aspect of your life is enough to make all of your life work, can you please just join and create all of that?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all night shots, boys and beyonds. You've got to trust yourself and the universe and consciousness and the tools and those around you. There is no room for doubt.
Wow, beautiful. Tulika, I don't know if you realize what you just said. You're actually asking us to trust everything and everybody.
All the time.
Wow.
Not that much.
Right? No separation. I'll trust me, I won't trust her. Or I'll trust the universe, I won't trust XYZ. It's actually trusting the entire everything, with the good and the bad.
So how much control would you all have to give up or turn up for more to trust?
Yeah.
How much do you switch between control because you don't want to trust? Like, how much do you swap that out? It's like, I don't trust, so I will do control, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. So truth. Are you controlling or are you just distrusting?
Yeah, it's
distrusting. You're distrusting the universe. You're distrusting the quantum entanglements. You're distrusting that things will show up for you. So because you distrust that, you start doing control. And if you trusted you, trusted the universe, trusted that when you ask, you will receive. Wow. You will not need the need for control. The need for control would go away the more you trusted. But you would also know when to control because you trusted, this time I will require control. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you trust that this one person will never do what you ask them to do. But that control comes out of trust. That control. So you're like, all right. So you trust to be in control there. It's a choice. So no one's saying give up control. We're just saying that how much do you just automatically switch to control just because you don't trust? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that control, wow, yeah. So the source of control is actually mistrust.
It's the doubt. It's the
doubt.
distrust. It's the judgment. It's the DJCCs and bestures and all of that. Yeah. Then that's where that control comes from. It's that absolute, I will make sure everything goes the way I want it to go, because guess what? I have no way to know or trust that this will show up the way I've been asking for.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why sometimes the tools don't work for us. Because instead of trusting the tools to work for us, we try to control the tools to work for us and control everything to work for us. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Chandana, Tulika, may I add something here?
Please.
Yes.
So, brilliant conversation, both of you. And as it's been going along, I just realized that the traditional dictionary definition of trust is getting so heavy.
Yeah.
While the topic is trusting your knowing, and I guess for most of us in Access now, we know what actually that means. But if we think about it and have that conversation with anybody else, it would just be so heavy when we're having that conversation. The inherent definition
I trust you.
Yeah. And as we speak, I was just constantly playing that. And I said, okay, it's not trust, but it is awareness, consciousness, awareness. So,
and sometimes awareness might look a little different than trust, Pramod. Like, I don't think it's exactly the same thing. And awareness might give you the sense of what to ask for. And then comes the trust that it will.
Right.
Right? So it's like, I'm asking for this, and then I'm going to not nag myself or anyone else or the universe about it, because I trust it's going to happen when and the way it does.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
Ina's like, this conversation is beyond this reality and choosing it. Thanks.
I mean, I'm loving it. This is just beautiful. Yeah.
Manish has a question. Sorry, just one
Manish,
sec.
please.
Manish, you want to say your question out loud, or shall we read it out?
Tulika, just before we get on to the question, could I just ask what you told Pramod?
Absolutely.
About not nagging. I mean, can you elaborate a little on that?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
The other Chandana, who's also called Reshma in part.
Yes.
Have you ever called for a lift that's like on the 40th floor or the 50th floor of a building?
I have.
How many times, if you keep pressing it, does it come faster?
Not too many times.
I love that.
But how many of us do that?
Yeah.
We can't see the number. We don't know if it's coming from the 50th floor or the 45th floor or the 450th floor. It's the conscious. It's consciousness. It's the universe. We don't know. We don't even know if it's coming straight down or from the left or from the right or diagonal or, it doesn't matter how many times you call the lift. If anything, you might dysfunctional something or lose interest and be like, I've been calling it for 20 minutes. I'm out of here, It just means pay attention to something else after you asked. Trust. It's going to show up. I always give this analogy. Thanks, Sonal, for liking my analogies. This one's a repetition. But it's like, you've gone to the restaurant, you've ordered your food. Stop asking me, is it made yet? Is it made yet? Is it made yet? Is it made yet? Like, order something else. Have a drink. Chat with your friend. Go create your life. The food will come. Okay?
So that's so wonderful the way you said it, because you don't leave the restaurant. You're still in the restaurant. But
Exactly.
you're willing to look at other stuff too, right? So it's like your energy is still there. You know what you're creating, but you're not nagging.
You've ordered it. It'll come.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really, very, very grateful.
Wonderful. It's really wonderful. Yeah.
Mm.
So should I just read out the question that
Yes,
Monish
please.
has? Or Monish, do you want to unmute yourself? Whatever's
I think he might be at work, so he's probably not.
okay.
Can you
Oh,
hear me?
Yes,
yes.
you can.
Hi, thank you for this brilliant conversation. I mean, just the simplicity of the energy and the anecdotes is just fabulous. It's
You
phenomenal.
can always count on anecdotes and analogies with me. I love giving those. Anyway,
How does
yes.
it get any better? My sense is what Chandana was rephrasing or paraphrasing what you said earlier is about, okay, one piece is about trusting yourself. Great. Now, how does that sit with trusting others? And, I know sometimes we reference in the past and say, oh, blah, blah, blah. But how does that sit with trusting others also, people around you, people you're working with your business partners, or whatever? And then where is that line of blind faith and trusting? Yeah, that's my question.
The line is question in any situation in your life ever. The line is question. If you haven't asked a question, you've crossed the line. Simple as that. If you haven't been like, okay, truth, will this person do this or create this or change this or have this or are they different now? I mean, there are people that I've worked with. I don't know if you know, but I've been working with Access for about 6 years now, out of the 7. And there are some really interesting people I work with, and they're changed so much. Like, they were so not fun to work with at some point. Or let's just say, and I am pretty sure I've been one of those people as well. I was just like probably very difficult to deal with at some point, and then I was like, oh, not so hard anymore. Not so. I mean, they're sweeter, they're nicer, they've changed something. So, Manish, if that sort of explains it, like, you can never, blind faith is when you're not willing to ask a question and you go into conclusion, and trust is being willing to stay with them and allow them to change and choose and still continue trusting them to be who they are, not who you decided or have a point of view about that they are. And that's a very different place. I've just seen the same people go from amazing to bitchy and from bitchy to amazing, right? It's never a one-way street. So people don't always get better and people don't always get worse, right? So, Manish, does that sort of take care of?
Absolutely. Thank you. I guess the question when the question is missing, it's then the blind faith and
it's blind faith then, yes.
Yeah.
The line is always just question. It really is. I cannot tell you not just never yourself again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Autopilot.
Oh,
That was wonderful. So for everybody who didn't hear Tulika say that, the way not to trust you is by going into conclusion and not asking a question.
Yes.
I mean, how simple can that get, right? But we've still got to fight it. We've still got to make it tough.
Because you'll use that opportunity to never trust yourself again. Because when you concluded and it didn't work out the way you didn't expect it to work out, and it didn't show up the way you asked for it to show up, even though you had a complete conclusion about even your question, and then you're like, this doesn't work, or that tool doesn't work, or this doesn't work, or Access doesn't work, or
That's really, so what you said, when you ask a question, you already, in your head somewhere behind that question is already what you want to hear. You already have an expectation of what you'd like to hear or what you'd like. Even if you're not asking somebody a question, even if you're asking a question, yet somewhere behind all of that question is you already deciding and concluding what is the best that can show up. Right? And is that where we actually camouflage our questions, right? Our knowing.
Camouflage our conclusions behind questions, you mean?
Yes, right? We camouflage our conclusions with a question.
With a question mark.
Yeah.
But, this is the beauty of asking questions, though. If you keep at it, at some point, it will become open-ended.
Yeah.
Like, what if you trusted just asking a question is enough and asking another and another and another? Because at some point, you'll get into wonder. I wonder what's going to show up.
Yeah.
at some point you'll start wondering, and wondering is the greatest way to invite possibilities into your life. It's like, I wonder. It means you have no conclusion and no point of view. So it doesn't matter if you start with, because sometimes, when you're really, really want something and really want to create something or really desire something in your life, your first few questions might actually end up being really a conclusion with a question mark attached. I want this, please. Universe, send it to me. Can I have it?
And what will it take to have it? That's my question.
How soon can I have it? And those are not questions. But then you ask another one, and then you're like, okay, so truth is this. And so then sometimes when it doesn't show up, you're like, what's right about this I'm not getting? Okay, so that's a question.
That's a question.
Great. The question can sometimes get you into a question, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, when you have the knowing, you have the trusting, that's when the action also comes in, right? Like we spoke about in the Sea of this time, how much of what is that action that we take when we have a trust of our knowing? It's not like a physical action of moving and getting up and doing something.
Sometimes it's that, and sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is that, yeah. And sometimes it's just, even just breathing on is action, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is actually one of the best actions you should take. Breathe.
Yeah.
Please breathe, everybody, and preferably breathe calmly. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. One day someone, I think it was Rebecca or someone, I was like, I don't know what to write on my website. I have a website, by the way. Nobody knows about the website.
Put it in here for everyone to know.
It's www.tulikasingh.co. But anyway, the first few questions, it was like, create you or something I've written. I was like, I don't like it. And then she says, if you could say one thing to everyone in the whole world, and everyone was listening, what would you say to them? And I was like, breathe. Like, that's all I could come up with. I was like, just breathe, relax, chill, just breathe. It's okay. It's all going to sort itself out. Breathe. Especially at the times when you don't think you can breathe anymore. Does anybody else have a question? Poonam says, is there a way to trust the disappointment we face?
Oh, yeah.
What's right about this I'm not getting? Is it a disappointment or is it just a possibility? Your point of view creates them into disappointments and victories and successes and failures. Everything is just a possibility. And you can choose another one. Right? Does that help, Poonam? Or is that too woo-woo? Bye, Manish. Okay.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you for being on. Yeah. Any more questions, friends? Yes, you can, Rabia.
And Rekha.
And Rekha. Rekha has a question too.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Or maybe
please.
after Rabia.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. What a brilliant conversation, guys. This is so rocking my world completely. Thank you so much. So I want to talk about what Tulika was saying, that earlier we used to choose something heavy and then realize, okay, this is heavy, and then something else. What is the way to not choose heavy at all? Or what is it we will still choose heavy sometimes and then do the same thing like before? Choose the heavy and then oh, this was not light, so now I have to change it again.
What do you love about the challenge of changing something that's heavy into light?
Ooh, yucks.
Wow. That is pretty yucky.
Everything that brought up for all of you. Can you please destroy and create all of that?
Yes.
Thanks. Right, wrong, good, bad, all night, shots, boys and beyonds. And how much do you not have things to do in your life? So the best way to keep yourself occupied and busy is to choose heavy things so you can turn them into light. Because where is all that creative energy going to go? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it all. Thank you. Right, wrong, good, bad, all night, shots, boys and beyonds. It's what's the least destructive way I can destroy possibilities. Let's
Yeah.
choose heavy and try to make them light.
So is it like actually possible that if I choose, I could just keep choosing light, 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 light?
Is it?
I wonder.
Is that heavy or light in your world?
That is very light.
So evidently you can't because you love choosing heavy, so you will not.
No, I just gave that up last week. Last week I literally, one of the nights I had nothing to do and I was just watching Netflix and I was like, oh my God, how much am I trying to think of something shit to create?
Like, this is too boring. Yeah.
No.
So everywhere you've all decided choosing light, 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 light is so boring because it feels like nothing. Can you please just try and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Thank you. Wow. Right, wrong, goodbye, popper, all night shots, boys, neons. Yes, it feels like nothing.
It has
There's
no artificial intensity whatsoever. If you're just
you feel like an airhead. So you're like, like you have no words, you have nothing. You're just using light after
I
light
think that
after
was
light.
us after day one, right? CF. Wow. Oh my God. What is this? Yeah.
okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Rekha.
Rekha.
I forgot my question.
Oh.
Airhead. Did it become light and fly away?
Oh, okay. So, what if, like, suppose you are talking about trusting. So, what if, like, suppose I want to choose something and I'm asking questions and it's like, and the other voice in my head is saying you have to trust, it will show up. If you don't trust yourself, it will never show up. So what will be the coolest tool that you will share here?
Go back to from whence he came, never return to me and my body and this reality ever again. If there's too many voices in your head, there's too many voices in your head. You need to eliminate those.
Okay.
If someone is talking to you in a you format, you need to really look at I think you have the tools. So I hope everyone here has the tools to clear entities. If not, there are Chanda's, I think, a Talk to Entities facilitator. You can go to her class. There's a bunch of other people out there. So find them and get yourself a session. If you're dealing with too many people's voices in your head, it's not supposed to be the case. One should be talking. So if I'm talking to myself, I'm like, shouldn't be saying, what are you doing? Why can't you do this? Why haven't you done this yet? There shouldn't be a you conversation. It should be like, okay, I can do that. No, I can create that. I can. So when you say talking to yourself in I, it's like, okay, fair enough. But if you're having a you conversation, you should get up right now. You need to walk there right now. You need to call this person right now. You need to finish this. It's too many voices in your head. So, but if this is a question about trusting yourself, Rekha, and knowing that you should trust yourself, so everywhere you've employed an entity to make you trust you, can you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Making Sonal sleep. Right, wrong, goodbye, Papa. Boys and beyonds. Yeah, don't give other people jobs that you know you. So, okay. So everywhere all of you want to give other people jobs of trusting and question and light and choice and infinite possibilities, because all of this is way too much to handle, too many tools, too many classes, too much of too much and too much, all the overwhelms. So you've given this job to others. Can you please destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Thank you. Right, wrong, goodbye, popper, online shots, boys and girls. Wow, that is a very interesting point of view.
Can you please
Know what you're
repeat
doing
that?
to people on this call?
I know we were only supposed to have a conversation about possibility, not change people's.
Yeah, right? Wow, awesome. Fabulous.
Oh, sorry, can't keep it basic.
Thank you for that. It's been wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Poonam. Thank you, Charu, for your acknowledgement.
Any more questions, friends?
Could
Anybody?
you elaborate on the last bit, Tulika? Please,
Always catch me on my veggies. You're supposed to let them stay.
No! I'm the one who... the bit where you said that if you're giving the other people the job to, I don't know, whatever that was, I forgot. But yeah.
It's so anything that you've decided is hard for you to do. Anything you've decided is too much work. Whether it's relationships, whether it's dealing with people, whether it's trusting yourself, whether it's trusting other people, you want to go on sort of like this autopilot sequence. Now, sometimes the autopilot is a set of belief systems, and sometimes the autopilot is actually another entity or a demon, because you don't want to be powerful enough and infinite to be able to actually have it all, be it all, change it all, see it all of it, right? So the parts that you don't like doing, you know how when you were in school and you hated a particular subject, you almost ended up copying your friends' notes, right? Because you would never make any notes, you would never do the homework, you would never do the classwork, your copies were almost half empty, you were never doing any of it. So you employed a friend to do that stuff for you, okay? Now, if you've not grown up, which would be most of us, we have figured out a way of still handling the things we don't feel like doing. The subjects we flunk at, the subjects we hate. Those subjects, we find other people or other entities or other energies or other, judgments and points of views and these weird sort of things to take care of because we don't. Everywhere you're not willing to acknowledge how many subjects you're flunking at, you decided you're flunking at, and have therefore given other people and other entities and other energies a full freedom to take over. Can you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Acknowledge it and destroy and uncreate all of that. Thank you. Right, wrong, good, bad, papa, all shots, boys and beyonds. You're an infinite being. You don't get to flunk any subject.
Sorry, say that again.
So you're all infinite beings. You don't get to flunk any subject.
Right.
You will not flunk any subject. Trust yourselves, you will not.
Got it. So also this is where we function from the space of unconsciousness, right? The whole... Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Hey, Seema, do you have a question? Nope. Can you mute Seema? Chandra?
Natasha has a question. Rishma,
Yes,
can you mute
Natasha.
everyone, please, darling?
They're all muted. Could you unmute yourself if you'd like to talk, please?
Yeah, hi Tulika, how are you doing?
I'm very well, darling. How are you?
Good, just very hectic. Okay, I want to ask regarding a body process. Like after my father's death, I was pretty sick and my stomach was paining a lot. So I check up and I had gallbladder stones. But I didn't go in the wrongness. Maybe I'm going through whatever, so I got it. But after that, I said I'll do my body processes and I did a lot of things done. So I went again after 2 years and I don't know, I had faith it would go, but it's still not gone. So
I have faith it will go is not a question, my love.
No.
No. No, you don't get to dismiss me. As always. I always mess with you the most. I have faith it will go. Is what question?
Yeah, okay. But
I have a choice to change it.
Yeah. I asked my body, what is it? What can I do with it? Can I change it? And do more processes and
cool.
Be very aware of what I'm eating.
But do you realize, so guys, I'm sorry, can I use you as an example here, Natasha?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So this is what we do, right? We say, I've asked my body a question and it says run more processes. And then you go, I know this will change. I know this will go away. Okay. So somewhere you've decided it has to go away. So after how many body processes will you lose the trust that you had to finally go, it hasn't gone away, so therefore it's not working? yes or no, right, Natasha? Like at some point, maybe 6 months down the line, you'll be like, but it's still not gone away, body. What the hell are you doing? Or what are the body processes not working? Or am I even doing the right body processes? Do I make sense?
Yeah.
That point of view that says it will go away will now actually negate to quite a degree and maybe even reduce the effectiveness of some of the processes you might end up choosing. Do I make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
But if you allowed your body to choose what it chooses, create what it creates, sometimes actually to pass through the stones actually sometimes need to get bigger or different or change shapes. Like it's the body knows what it's doing. And so you might get pissed off saying, "Ye to bade ho gaye stones," versus all the body was trying to do was find a way to eliminate them.
Yeah, actually, the stone size has reduced.
Yeah, but you've decided reduction is the right way to go. I'm not saying it's the wrong way to go either. It probably is. The body is smart. But everywhere you trust the body is smart by only making things better, the judgment version of better, can we please destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Thank you. Right, wrong, good, bad, poker, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Wow, you are all fried.
Yeah. Me too.
Natasha, does that help what I'm trying to get you to see? Because this isn't just so. Another tool that I want to give all of you is when you do this thing in your life, anywhere, Nats, you there?
Uh-huh.
Natasha, you there, right? Yeah. If you're choosing to be in conclusion about something like it has to go away, it will become better, it must change, or something like that, how many more aspects of your life are you doing this? This is just kidney stone. So when you get aware of a way that you perceive or receive, or if you perceive, no, be and receive, if you get the information of how you behave in a particular aspect of your life, take that and then run a diagnostic in all aspects of your life where you do this. It is such a gift when you come across a way that you've been thinking or choosing that's not working for you. And when you get that awareness, or even when it's working for you, when you get that awareness also, take it all across the board. Okay, I'm really good at this. What ease do I have that I can use across other aspects of my life? Wow, this is definitely not a conversation. Thank you, Sonal.
Wow, loving this totally, completely. No, I just put myself on mute because.
No. What I mean is, I'm frying everyone. This is supposed to be a conversation of possibilities.
Oreo's like, what are you doing with me?
No, Tulika is just an awesome facilitator. I've done foundation and I know how much she's rocked my world.
I'm having another class in Mumbai soon, Tulika. You and Rebecca, gosh, I'm going to be there.
Rebecca and I are doing a foundation. You have to be. And a foundation, not just the luncheon. Yes, we should tell people about that.
Awesome.
Yes.
So, Tulika, like you said, I mean, I see that trait too. Like you get this awareness and then you use it for a couple of months and then you sort of get like, oh, fuck, this shit is not working. How do you make it work? What are the questions I can ask? And, you go into that rant rather than actually being with it and asking another question. So what is the other way to go about this? I mean,
you're telling me every way I've been choosing up till now is not the way to do this?
I agree. What have I been doing? Like, what is this then?
Okay, put it in a question. I might be able to help you.
I don't have a question.
So, are you judging yourself very harshly right now?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, you're trying to figure it out. Because you're judging yourself extremely harshly right now? Okay, cool. Usually when there's very harsh judgment going on, it's very hard to ask a question if you've noticed. It's really, whether you're doing it to yourself or to someone else or specifically to yourself, it's very hard to go into question. It's almost like stopping the flow of something dead and then trying to change tracks. So usually it's hard for someone to, you really have to like stop and be like, okay, cool. So I've been choosing that. What else could I choose? And that maybe is your tool, Reshma, is like, all right, I've been choosing to use the tools with a very specific outcome in my mind. What would it be like if I use the tools with absolutely no outcome in my mind? What if I didn't even have a mind? What questions could I ask about not having a mind at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Tulika, I wonder if you can talk about some things you can use to start to trust our knowing.
Absolutely. So whenever you feel like you're being controlling, you're like, what am I not trusting here that's making me use control instead of trust? Okay, so what am I choosing here? What am I aware of here that I require to trust? But because I don't want to trust, I'm going to control. Okay, so because that came up on this call, I thought a great awareness to have is that every time you're doing control, you're not trusting you. Another tool to build your trust, to trust your knowing, is actually starting with really, really small things like, do I eat this? Do I go there? Do I meet this person? Especially with people where you go onto autopilot. So now if you have a friend or family or someone that no matter whenever they ask for you to be there, you're always there, right? You're always like, yes, I can take the call. Yes, I'm there for you. Yes, I will do this. Yes, you are a yes, sir, 3 bags full for this person or these people without any question in your world. Now, if you trusted yourself to be able to say, no, actually, it's not light for me. So you ask a question. What is my reality here? What would I choose here? Truth. Am I interested in even meeting them today or ever? 10-second increments, but yeah. And then trusting it. So these people are like ready for you to play with, because also if you've been this yes sir 3 bags full, thanks Ritu, I know it's quite crazy. These are people that would be amazing to experiment on, yes, because they will either stay in your life after these experiments or they will go. And if they went away, great. And if they stayed, great, because you liked they were around anyway. So does that work? It's a very experimental tool. Yeah. So start with those two, and then it's almost like practice that muscle, while driving. If you're used to taking a very set route every day to work or back or somewhere else, it's like, start looking. So what are the automatic responses in my life that I have completely eliminated any sort of question, choice, possibility, contribution, and therefore trust from, because I don't want to operate from question, choice, possibility, and contribution. I hope all of you have done a foundation, and if you haven't, please get your ass into one. It is one of the best foundational / platform tools that you will ever need in your life to create anything you desire. So how much do I not want question, choice, possibility, contribution in my life that I keep distrusting everything? Excuse me, and everyone, including myself.
And if I can say something here,
please.
I think asking a question, and an open-ended question, like a question as a question, itself is trusting, is itself building that muscle. Because when you ask an open-ended question, there is nothing but trust in that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Actually having no conclusion with that trust, with that question, but just asking a question, letting it show up however. And it doesn't always show up the way we think it should. Probably
Almost
not.
never. almost never shows up the way you think it will.
Yeah, true that. True that. Oh my God, we could continue with this call for another couple of hours.
I think so.
So beautiful, Tulika. Thank you for being on, honey. And yes, we do have our Dare to Bear segment. And if you have more questions, guys, and Tulika will be in Mumbai for the foundation class. What are the dates, Tulika? If you can just let everyone know, darling.
So on the so our foundation, Rebecca and I are doing, if you know Rebecca Hulse, so we're doing a foundation on 15, 16, 17, 18th in Mumbai at the Marriott. And we are also having an amazing
April.
Of June. Sorry, in Mumbai. And we also have an amazing class called the EJG, which is the East Joy Glory Luncheon at the Taj Colaba, because we wanted to invite people to the elegance of living a life of ease, joy, and glory, where things are just there to contribute to you if you will allow yourself to have that. Everything and everyone is a contribution if you're willing to change and perceive it in that way. So the Ease, Joy, Glory Luncheon is this all-inclusive luncheon. We're going to have a great time, food, wine, alcohol, everything amazing, in a beautiful setting in one of the most stunning hotels in Mumbai. And this is an invite to all of you. If you can be there, it would be so much fun for us to have you. On the 19th of June, 11 a.m.
Awesome.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, sweetheart, for that.
Thank you.
And what a true gift, both of you. I mean, Tulika and Rebecca. I don't even have the words to say any more than that. It's like Tulika and Rebecca, full stop. Yeah. So, should we go to the Dare to Bear segment, Tulika, before we wind up, darling?
Absolutely. I have no idea what it was about.
I know. That's what I love about it. So, I'm just going to give you a word and just whatever word comes up for you. Okay?
Okay.
So, creativity.
Me.
Anger.
Also me.
Love.
Joy.
Marriage.
Beautiful.
Joy.
Love.
Wow. Honor.
Trust.
Yeah, wow. And of course, trust.
Knowing.
And knowing.
Breathe.
Oh, wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you for that, sweetheart. And we're going to wind up on that note tonight. Thank you for being on, Tulika. And thank you everyone for being on. It's really not possible without all of you on. Thank you, and I adore you all.
Thanks
you,
for having me.
Have a great, when you leave for Dubai?
1st of April, we reach Dubai.
Awesome. Awesome. Wonderful. She just gets closer to India. Yay!
Finally. Yay. All right, everyone. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks, everyone.